welcome to my channel. My name is Gabby Ellis. I'm so excited that you're here and that you're listening in today. I'm literally sitting on my bedroom floor. It's so rainy today. I'm just sitting here on a rainy day in front of this picture that we have been meaning to hang for the last 18 months, literally, and just haven't hung it. I don't know if anyone can relate at all to that. Just not getting stuff done the way that you thought you would get it done. But anyway, so today I actually just wanted to kind of give you the Cliff Notes version of a sermon that I preached the other day called The Secret of Being Happy. And it's basically, it's basically just like, what is happiness and how do we even achieve happiness if you're feeling depressed right now, or if you're feeling really hopeless about your life, feeling like it's going nowhere. I totally understand. I have been there. I just came out of a season a few months ago where I felt really depressed. I felt so, I didn't feel motivated to do anything. I felt really sad. I was feeling really hopeless about my life and about where it was going. I didn't know what I wanted to do or where I wanted to go or anything. And so basically I felt like I was supposed to write songs. And so I started writing a bunch of songs and feeling a lot more hopeful. And I wrote this song that I feel like kind of completed the depression. And I just wanted to share with you guys in the hope and the process that I went through, and really what I feel like God says about happiness and about and about finding fulfillment, because I think a lot of times in this day and age we're just wondering like, what makes us happy and how do I find fulfillment? That's a big thing. And being happy. So we're actually gonna be talking today out of John 15:11, and the verse, it's John 15:11 that says, "These things I have spoken to you, that my joy may remain in you, and that your joy may be full. This is my commandment." And he goes on to say, "Love one another, love as I have loved you." But I just want to focus right here where it says, "These things I have spoken to you, that my joy may remain in you, and that your joy may be full." And so this is basically the key. This is where God is saying, this is how you find the fullness of joy. This is how you find fulfillment and happiness. So this is where he says these things. And so just before verse 11, I'll read you a little bit about what's happening in John 15 here. But basically, he's saying, this is where Jesus is saying, "I'm the vine, my Father's the vine dresser, you're the branches, everything in me has life." So he's saying this whole thing. And basically, the biggest, most important message that you get out of this is that he's saying in verse 5b, "He who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit. Without him he can do nothing." And so that kind of sums up the whole idea of what's happening here in John 15. So when Jesus says in verse 11, "These things I have spoken to you that you may have the fullness of joy," that's what he's saying. These things are basically, if you abide in me and me in you, then you have life. And so essentially, I know this sounds so simple, but that's essentially what happiness means, is abiding in God, that he may live in you, that you may have the fullness of joy. Right now, if you don't believe in God, I just want to encourage you to actually just go spend some time alone. Take 30 seconds or 5 minutes or 30 minutes or however much time you have. I just want to encourage you right now to just go be alone and just ask God to just show himself to you, because he loves you, he wants you, he is so passionate about you, and he's been chasing you down with his love, and he wants connection with you. He wants you to be happy. God wants you to be happy. So anyway, back to what we're talking about. So these things I've spoken to you, that you may have the fullness of joy. So basically God is saying, if you abide in me, you'll have the fullness of joy. But what does it really mean to abide? So I just want to quickly take you to a few other examples where they use the same word, abide. So John 4:40, it says, it says, so when the Samaritans came to him, they urged him to stay with them, and he stayed there for 2 days. So basically, Jesus is traveling, he runs into some people, they end up obviously wanting more time with him because he's Jesus and everyone wants more time with Jesus. And they say, please stay with us. And so he stayed with them. And that word stay with us is actually the same word as abide. And so essentially, when we're looking for what does it mean to abide in God and in Jesus, it actually just means to stay with him. It just means to spend time with him. It's all about connection. That's where we find fulfillment and happiness. It's all about connection. I want to take you to another quick example where it says, but they constrained him. Abide with us toward the evening, and the day is far spent. And he went in to stay with them. And that word again is stay with them. So there's two strangers welcoming him into their house, and Jesus decides upon their invitation to stay with them. And so that's the same invitation that Jesus is giving to us, that he's inviting us to stay with him, to be close to him, to be connected with him, that we might find the fullness of joy, that his joy may remain in us, and our joy may be full. Okay? Just two more examples. Again, this is where... Okay, so this is actually really interesting. So this is when Jesus is in the Garden of Gethsemane, or Gethsemane. I don't even know how to pronounce that word. Genuinely, don't know how to pronounce that word. And basically, he's crying out, and he's so anxious about the fact that he knows that he's being asked to give up his life in just a few days' time. And there's a few disciples with him. And so then this is Jesus talking. Then he said to them, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even to death. Stay here and watch with me. And so again, we see another invitation. When Jesus is in his most desperate time, he's just asking the disciples to stay with him, to watch with him, to pray with him, to encourage him. And that's the same invitation that Jesus gives to us when he says, abide with me. He says, stay with me. And I love this idea because when Jesus was extending the invitation for the disciples to stay with him, the same way he extends that same invitation to us. And that we can stay with him and be with him, be in connection with him. So the last example I'm going to give of what this word abide means and what it means to abide in God, that we may have the fullness of joy, that we may be happy and have fulfillment, is that it says, Jesus said to him, I'll give you a little bit of context. So the disciples are asking about the one that's going to betray Jesus. They've heard that there's going to be one person that's going to betray Jesus. And so the disciples are asking, who's going to betray him? And Jesus said to him, so basically the disciple says, Lord, who is the one that betrays you? Peter, seeing him, said to Jesus, but Lord, what about this man? Jesus said to him, if I will that he remain till I come, what is that to you? You follow me. Then saying this, went out among the brethren to his... Then saying... Sorry, I'm not a very good reader. Then this saying went out among the brethren, that this disciple would not die. Yet Jesus did not say to him that he would not die, but... if I will that he remain till I come, what is that to you? So this is really interesting because now this word remain, which is the same word as stays with, which is the same word as abides, in this context, it actually means, he's actually saying, if I will that he stays alive till I come, what is it to you? So this is actually so interesting because literally now this word actually even means to keep life, to stay alive. Not only does it mean to stay with, to abide, to persevere, to persist, it also means to remain alive. So I love this verse because it's literally saying that connection with Jesus, to stay with Jesus, to abide with Jesus, literally means that we are staying alive in Jesus. That's actually where we get our life source. I just love that, and I love that that's literally the key to our happiness, is staying the course, persisting, connecting with Jesus. That's what it's all about. It's all about connecting. It's all about connection, and that's what really makes us happy. At the end of the day, it's not things that makes us happy. It's not money. It's not status. It's not being pretty or being married. I'm married. I have a wonderful marriage. I'm so glad that I'm married. I love my husband. His name is Trey. I love being married, but that doesn't make me happy. I chose already to live a life of joy and happiness. And when I got married, my happiness and my joy wasn't like extended. It became even greater because I was married to him, but he didn't make me happy. Does that make sense? Like, I didn't get married to him and suddenly, like, all my problems went away and was more happy. Like, that's actually not what happens. It's actually, when I first got married, it actually magnified the insecurities and the issues that I had. And so if you're looking for things to make you happy, things will never make you happy. Whether it's a relationship with a famous person or a husband or, you know, or a job or a new car, like, that will never, ever make you happy. And it's your choice. You will never be more happy than what you choose to be today, because that is your choice, and your circumstances do not determine your level of happiness. I know this might sound really crazy because it might sound difficult to think. When things are going horribly around you, how can that not affect your happiness? And of course, there are moments where we grieve, and there are moments when we're sad. But ultimately, happiness is a choice. Joy is a choice. And it's a choice of being connected and being connected in relationship to God. And that is what makes us truly happy. And I also believe that our relationships with people mirror us choosing to be connected to God. We were made to be connected with people. We're designed to be connected with people. We need people. But that's not the end. That's not all that we need. We need God. You need God. You need hope in your life, and there is hope for you. And so that's really it's all that I want to say today, I think. And I hope this meant something to you, and I hope that you feel hope, that there is a God who loves you, that there is hope for connection, that he wants to be your friend, that you need people in your life that love you and champion you, because relationships are so important. They're not the end. They're not the end all be all, but they are so important. So yeah, I hope you have a great day. And please subscribe if you want to hear more videos, more teachings about life, about the Bible, about makeup, all sorts of things. I have lots of videos on lots of things. So I love you. Thank you for listening. You've been amazing. And have a great day.